And we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, September 21st, and I just need to play a couple of priest cards and then I'll be done. I suppose I'm hoping to be productive this weekend, but I'm not inherently planning on being productive this weekend. I'd like to get some other things non-YouTube related done, but I also need to play some Borderlands too and start recording that for November. We've got a lot of games. We had an overage of games on Wednesday. We've cut back and gone on a diet as far as unimportant news. So theoretically that would have sped things up, but it seems like a lot of news has just happened recently, so even that is kind of slowing us down. So let's get into it. We have a game on Steam called Witch Thief. You play as a snarky witch thief on a quest to steal all the magic she can possibly can. Naturally, those who have magic don't want to give it up, so she does what she does best. This is kicking in front of the door and taking it all anyway. This looks like it's tagged as an adventure action bullet hell game. It's very, very pink. Very, very pink. It's not a flying around in a spaceship to the side-scrolling or scrolling to the top bullet hell game. It is more in the lines of at least some of the Nier Automata fights, where you're in a 3D environment fighting other characters and they're shooting just projectiles in a 3D environment all over you. Looking at this, it seems like there's some repetition on the enemies you're fight. Also, this animation style is kind of weirdly Western for something that, if you told me the name of the game was just Witch Thief, I would immediately imagine it just anime-esque characters. This is an English-only game, too. So that seems kind of weird.
Right away.
Let's play this game too. 10% off for $17.99. I really want to see what else this developer's done that's got no reviews. Let's see.
Access denied.
I made a game called Attrition Tactical Fronts. I made a game called Puzzle Puppers. They made a game called Warden Melody of the Overgrowth. All of them were rated positively, but all of them look very different to this game too. I have to wishlist this game. Like, there's something very weird about it. It's a Western style witch, or which is to say more of a pre-Harry Potter-esque European style witch. It's the cutesy Halloween witches. It's not the spooky, ugly witches. Let's do this. And then do this.
Right away.
And then do this. I could say Witch Thief though probably might just be a boss rush game. Like, it may only be an hour or two of gameplay. But yeah, there's no reason to reject this game. I gotta keep an eye on it, see if people check it out and play it. And can't really put a recommendation on it, one way or the other. Next we have a game called Gladio, Gladio. It says Gladio is a small experimental game attempting to innovate first-person melee combat systems, which is to say it's a poorly programmed asset flip game of sword combat. It seems like it's trying to be pretty bloody and low polygonish of sorts. And destructible environments. A I could see potentially with more effort this game being something like super hot, but as it is, it's $4.99 with no discount, and it just looks too experimental to be realistically considered a game. Well, at least a game that should be on Steam and for sale. I guess inherently also I need to recognize I don't care if a game is on Steam or some other place. I just want high quality games should be on sale, other low quality games shouldn't be. If you want to put them on your website, if you want to show them off, if you want to put them on itch.io as an advertisement, that's fine. But once you get to Steam, which I consider the Walmart of storefronts, you expect a ready for prime time style game, something that is sellable, that is in a polished format, not something that is a tech demo. If you're holding a dragon, swap its attack. Restore 4 to everybody. Mech.
What is my purpose?
See, I could swap this down to 1 health and kill it, but I'd lose a minion. Moving on, Gamatsu has an article. Earth Defense Force 5 launches December 11th in North America and Europe. Earth Defense Force is the giant aliens, spiders, and creatures attacking the world. It's a pretty decent concept of a game, often not implemented very well. It'll be out for the PlayStation 4 via the PS Store. It's not coming out, I think, in any physical releases, at least right now. The idea of the Earth Defense Force series of games is better than, I think, the implementation. Yep. Can I do all of this? No, I can't. Not in one turn. I'm getting sleepy. It's too early to be sleepy. Wow.
Protocol 7.
Close some of these tabs because they're just talking about things I've already talked about. Well, here's a interesting story, I guess YouTube related. A Minecraft crafter called Mumbo Jumbo, M-U-M-B-O-J-U-M-B-O, on YouTube. Apparently, according to his own Twitter, which I don't have a great reason why I'm even listening to his Twitter. I think I followed him and then muted him, but then he tweeted Team YouTube, which I also follow. I saw it because of that reason. Apparently somebody has been just stealing every little bit about his YouTube channel, like his channel art, his name, his I think what they've done is they've changed the jumbo, the O at the bottom, to a 0 in jumbo, and they are just taking every single one of his videos and uploading it to their channel and just stealing it, which shouldn't be allowed. It should be just caught automatically, but apparently it is definitely not caught automatically. Let's see. Double. Should have played that first. In the turn there. So yeah, that Team YouTube said, hey, we'll get in contact too. But yeah, last thing any YouTuber needs is somebody just stealing all their content and putting it on a different YouTube channel. And as a small YouTuber, it's like I can't really go spend the time to fill out DMCA complaints, and YouTube's not going to really respond to them if something like that happened to me. Like, we really need YouTube support to be able to do the very basic thing, which they can do for you, certainly. They tell me if I upload the same video twice that this is a duplicate video, and thus it can't... the upload failed. So I'm not sure why they couldn't do the same for other people.
Well played.
Let's see.
Choose quickly.
Next game we have on Steam is called Crosscode, a 2D action RPG, 16-bit Super NES style animation. I would probably agree with that. It looks better than a lot of the 8-bit games.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah. Crosscode is tagged as an action RPG, pixel graphics RPG, 2D. It seems a little bit fast-paced, so it's not like a turn-based RPG element. So yeah, Crosscode looks interesting. Interesting. They're showing off, maybe my Steam Enhanced is showing off some widescreen certifications. Crosscode is 15% off for $16.99, and it looks good enough to justify putting it on the wish list and keeping an eye on it. Like, certainly questions will come down to like the actual let's see, if I play this, what does that do? Nothing. Just hit everything, I guess. Yeah, Crosscode right now is overwhelmingly positive with 96% positive reviews of 2,638, and it came out today, so that's really high reviews, which is kind of suspicious on itself, but I don't know what to say about that. Next we have a game on Steam called Stone, S-T-O-N-E. A hungover koala detective Stone wakes up to find his Chuki Alex has been kidnapped. What's a Chuki? You need to find out what happened. It sounds like it's an Australian game language or something. It's only in English. They say it's rated M17 for sexual themes, drug reference, strong language, M17 for everything. This is actually somewhat 3D animated though. So this doesn't feel like this is a scam. It just feels like it's probably a Leisure Suit Larry-esque type game. Except for you're playing as a koala bear. And what's funny is it's the only game this developer has made so far. If you want the basic version, it is $14.99. There's an art book and a screenplay. I almost feel like this isn't a video game at all, but it seems to be implied that it's a video game. Like it looks like it's interactive of some sort. So Stone has to also go to my wish list and just keep an eye on it. That's really where so many of these games fall down to. Now we're moving over to the Asian account. And in December, we are going to spend extra time just going through my wish list and saying, alright, all these games from 2016 or earlier have never gotten any reviews. I'm just going to remove them from the wish list. Like, they've failed to catch anyone's attention, and thus they failed to have any relevance to reality. Like, there could be amazingly good games out there nobody has played, but I'm not gonna be able to filter through all the garbage to find the 1 in a million hidden gem. Now this is incredibly infuriating. I need now 1 extra Tavern Brawl, 40 odd cost cards, and some more Tavern Brawls. And in the post-game show, the silent post show Wednesday that we brought back, I got this card pack, so let's go ahead and just open that now. I doubt any of those are new cards. Let's see, so we can play whatever we want, I guess. So I'm gonna stick with the warrior because that was the one class on this Tavern Brawl that seemed like it really could potentially be a good a winning class to play. Interesting. Alright, so we have a game on Steam, and we have so many games on Steam still, called My Brother Rabbit. It's a casual indie adventure hidden object game. Seems like it is hand-drawn hidden object game. I feel like I've seen this game before, so I think somebody probably talked about it before it came out. It's a very surreal game, very childlike. I think having more of a story to a hidden object game instead of them being generic bad stories as they often are is an interesting idea. Certainly. I'm not sure if going weird is the right direction, because when you're playing a point and click adventure or hidden object game and weirdness, that's gonna potentially make it more difficult. Yeah, this game has been reviewed by a considerable number of people, and I guess maybe came out earlier on other platforms because it's brand new today on PC. Has its own third-party EULA. It's $14.99. That's really expensive for a hidden object game, but you gotta at least put it on the wish list and see what people say. It has only like 3 user reviews right now. So a considerable amount of the games I'm saying today are going to end up on the wish list. Next we have a game on Steam called Stockpile. Stockpile is an economic stock market themed game that's all about insider trading. It seems more like a arcadey style of gameplay, and instead of being something that would be closer to a realistic perspective of what stock trading or insider trading would be like. So it probably is a little bit more fun because of that. But looking at the screen, it doesn't seem like too much happens. It's 30% off for $4.89, and I'm thinking this is one you could skip pretty easily. Let's see. They made one game that was mixed reviews, and one game that was mostly positive, and then one game that was mixed. So that they're more in the field of mixed reviews.
What now?
Yeah, I really don't think that this is an entertaining enough looking game to justify making it to the wish list. Yeah, this feels more like a board game that's been turned into a digital game, and often those don't work too well. Here's TechRaptor reviewing that game, Stone, that I just looked at. Let's just skip down to the bottom and see what they think about it. 5.5 average. Stone's writing can swerve between fantastic and terrible at the drop of a hat. Considering that is the most important part of the game, it's a shame it couldn't be more consistent in quality. Let's see. Pros, interesting central mystery, sharp sense of humor, great soundtrack. Cons, strange side plot, occasional bad writing, lifeless environments. So yeah, Stone seems like it's average. I'm not sure I'm gonna just trust TechRaptor about it though, so I'll keep that in mind when I look back at it and see what the actual player is saying. Let's see. Taunt. Plus the attack. And Gametsu has an article, Banner of the Maid gameplay features trailer. Banner of the Maid looks like it's a Japanese RPG of some sort. Let's see, it says it's coming out for the PS4, Switch, and PC in 2018. Yeah, it looks like it's more of a tactical, turn-based style RPG game. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad though. So when it has a real release date, I'll keep an eye out for Banner of the Maid. Lifesteal Rush, Lifesteal. Next we have a game on Steam called Coffee Trainer VR, which I'm fairly certain is a low effort VR game about making coffee. And honestly, I don't believe it has anything to do with making coffee. Well, I mean, it's a Japanese game, so maybe this is some kind of training material that is now being sold as a game in VR. Like, so maybe this really is some training for working in, oh, it's not even Japanese, it's Korean. English not supported, free to play, so they're not even making money off of it. I bet there's a decent amount of Korean coffee houses, and this might be an interesting way to tell people how to train their employees. You don't really need, I think, a ton of training to run a coffee, to work at a coffee shop, since it's a relatively simplistic thing to do compared to, I suppose, working at a fine dining restaurant as a chef. See, we've got somebody on the chat who put a bunch of Chinese or Japanese characters. Please speak in English or don't speak at all. I can't moderate what I can't read. We have a game on Steam called Yokai Match. That's Y-O-K-A-I. It's an RPG maker horror game, is what it's been tagged as, adventure indie. Suffers from dark screenshot syndrome. It is an RPG maker looking game. I don't think just the idea of a yokai mask is enough to interest me. It's only in simplified Chinese. It's not even in English. 30% off for $1.39. I don't know why they put it in English in the name if it's only going to be in simplified Chinese. Like, just that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Put it in simplified Chinese completely. Gematsu has a article. The new Pro Yakyu Spirit series title has been announced for the PS4 and Vita. That's YAKYUU Spirits. This is baseball, as best I can tell. I don't know if that is the best baseball game, Japanese baseball game that's made, or the worst. Could be something in between, certainly, too. Let's see, mix, and mix. So we do this, and then do this. And return. Gematsu has an article, Azure Lane Crosswave. Has some information that came out about it. Yeah, the Tokyo Game Show in particular is going to be very bad about just little tidbits of information, little screenshots. Seems like Azure Lane Crosswave is nowhere close to being announced. Another victory not collected, but we are making some playing some odd cards. We may have to do a silent post show after today too, just to get these last bit of victories. We have a game on Steam called Dream Card Builder, which is very positive, of 286 reviews. So there's something about this game that people like. Like, at the very first part of this, it seems rather simplistic and rather silly, but I can only assume has enough car frames and bodies and enough physics in it to entertain the people who would be entertained by it. To me, this does not look like an interesting game. It looks like it's just a physics simulator. Maybe it's just way better than any of the other awful asset flip physics simulators out there, but it still doesn't, to me, look great. But what can I say? At such a high review rating of, how do you get, let's see, 286 fake reviews? I mean, well, also though apparently this game must have been in early access because it's coming out today out of early access. Let's see. This, I don't want to say about it. I want to just say the price. It's 15% off for $12.74. I'm gonna pass on it. Like, I have no interest whatsoever to run a simulation game where I build the general appearance of a car. If I was gonna play a game about building a car, I'd want every single screw. I'd want every single bolt. I'd want every single bit and piece realistically shown so that I could say to myself after playing that game that I could actually put a car together from piece by piece, which I think I probably couldn't do that right now. I probably could get really close and try and figure it out, but there's definitely some things that I would not know about if I tried to put a card together. Moving on, we have a game called Pure Station, My Tetsu Pure Station.
You have made
It's MAITETSU, and then the rest of the description is all in, I think, Japanese characters. It's some kind of visual novel of sorts. Yeah, it's in Japanese, simplified Chinese, and traditional Chinese. I was getting the feeling that this is either a bunch of little anime kids running a train station, or the little anime characters are the human personification of trains.
That served no purpose.
Just squelch this guy. Yeah, it looks very anime, very cutesy. It's not getting tagged as anything that seems offensive, but the English language is not supported anyway, so it's 40% off for $14.99. If you can read Japanese. Let's see. +1/+1.
My shield for Argus.
On the turn. Komatsu has an article, Lapis X Labyrinth gameplay. Looks like this is coming out for the PlayStation 4 and the Switch November 29th in Japan. Looks like it's a simplistic RPG. Cute, chibi, small characters in the RPG.
Wanna see the voodoo I do?
And then Chen. Komatsu has an article, Catherine Full Body Details, Story, Puzzle Action in the Three Catherines. Some more details on all of that. I think Catherine Full Body really is just kind of a Ultimate Edition of Catherine and not really a continuation or sequel of Catherine. I'm not sure if there really is much of a continuation or sequel you can do. It's a very weird game, but very niche. Niche loved the game too. I think mostly for its gameplay. Yeah. And platforming.
What now?
Which is certainly a little weird on that one too. So yeah, this is a whole article on is just like describing the characters. Catherine Full Body is due out for the PS4 and beta February 14th, 2019 in Japan. A Western release is also planned, but it hasn't been dated. There's a lot of talk about it though. More talk than it probably deserves. We have a game on Steam called Home Security. A story of a recluse's sister to protect her brother. That's not even an English sentence. Her room is bright, comma, but inside of the house is dim. She always feels like there's someone watching her, and no space here, and need to push herself to walk in. This is just a garbage description. What this looks like is the new asset flips that look really, really good have certainly come again to let's see, am I ready to kill that guy? So this is like a wander around a asset flipped house and gets jump scares with a, I will fully admit, spooky looking horrific character that's wandering around. It's very, very horrific looking, but also it's kind of just missing polish.
My duty is to the king! For the king!
Let's go and just kill that. Home security is $4.99, and the lack of polish in the description and the fact that, yeah, it looks a lot prettier than it probably should be. The horror games where you're stuck in a house is as bad as the asset flip games where you're just in a open field fighting and shooting. So yeah, I'm not gonna reward home security and put it on the wish list. We talked about this. We still haven't gotten a full confirmation from Telltale Direct that Telltale is shutting down, but there's evidence, certainly, and confirmation that everybody, all projects have been canceled and everybody was let go. I don't know how you don't call that shutting down the company at that point. Let's see.
Before me.
Just hit that. Okay, here's update 3 from Kama Sutra. The official Telltale Twitter account announced a majority studio closure in the tweet. It has been an incredible, difficult year for Telltale as we work to set the company on a new course. Unfortunately, we ran out of time trying to get there. We realized we released some of your best content this year and received a tremendous amount of positive feedback, but ultimately that did not translate into sales. With a heavy heart, we watch our friends leave today to spread our brand of storytelling across the games industry. And, you know, playing The Walking Dead Season 3, there was a lot of greediness in that game. So I don't know if this is an actual true statement that they were suffering by not getting the sales, or if it's more of a case that they just absolutely wanted more money. Like, it kind of feels like they just wanted more money non-stop, that there was just, you know, investors involved that wanted more money when they couldn't possibly make more money being a niche product. The tweet also confirms that a small group of 25 employees are staying on to fulfill the company's obligations to its board and partners. So it really just boils down to, in my head, they didn't want, the board in particular did not want to invest in developing a new engine. Like, I don't know how it breaks down to anything different than that. We're not going to spend any money to invest into the new engine to run to keep the company going. Instead, we're just going to shutter the company and sell off it piecemeal, I'm sure, is the next step. Like, what you're not hearing in this instance is a issue of you're not hearing an issue of Telltale being underwater with loans or having any problems there. Let's see. Mech.
Magic neutralized.
And that. And then the turn. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll probably have more information by Monday. Here we have what looks like a Chinese-only RPG maker game called The Cage on Steam. It's 25% off for 74 cents. At least the price is right. Of course, I can't play it since it's Chinese-only language. Let's see. Go ahead and hit that. And that.
What are you hiding?
Surrender imminent.
We have a game called Fruit Pop on Steam, which seems like a very basic bubble in reverse game. No, I guess this would be closer to a Peggle clone. You don't see a ton of Peggle clones. It's free to play, so I guess the price is right, but it doesn't look particularly interesting. So we can move on there. Just trying to move on in general. I still need victories, by the way, so.
It's playtime. Job done.
We have a game on Steam that's in early access called Loathing Heart. It's tagged as an action-adventure indie game. In this psychological environmental experience, you have to protect your heart from getting harmed. Doing so will evolve a short but impactful story around yourself. protagonists our social system and the way we interact with other people. I've seen some other games like this that are just weird wrong think where where it's like you can't consider or listen to any negativity in your life. It's I think a lot of that is The Secret and some other cult ways of thinking, and a lot of it might just be SJW's ways of thinking too. All this game really is it seems like it's a bullet hell avoidance game with some simplistic graphics. It's actually kind of pretty, but it's very monotone in the color set. Doesn't seem like it's much of a game. It has 4 achievements. It's 16% off for $2.51. I think that's way too expensive for a game like this.
Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
So let's close that tab.
A bargain forged in blood and shadow.
I will burn this world and rule its ashes.
Did I get a victory? I think I did. We have a game on Steam called Spellrune Realms of Portals. Looks like it's some kind of card-based deck builder game. Early access strategy RPG. Looks cartoonily animated. Looks pretty good. There are, unfortunately, now about 4 or 5 card-based deck builder games out there that have the potential to actually need to be played. So that is something for me to consider also, but that would not make me decide against wishlisting Spellrune Realm of Portals. It's 10% off for $8.99, which is pretty expensive, but until I can get some user reviews, I'm willing to keep it on the list. Let's see. If I do this, and then do this, that works pretty well. We already talked about Twitch abruptly blocked in China and delisted from the iOS App Store, but let's see if there's something. Yeah, there's no details on why it was blocked from China. I'm sure Twitch barely knows the reason, or even the reason they're being told. So, yeah, we already talked for the most part about that.
Back to work.
Run for it!
TechRaptor has this article, the Dead Rising studio Capcom in Vancouver shut down. We already talked about that one, I think, so there's not anything really new to say there. We have a game on Steam called Bowman vs. Zombies, all one word. Interestingly enough, the animation is better than the spelling in this Unity game. That's kind of the problem though, is that you can do a low effort game and not be able to spell, basically. You just need to be able to program, or have somebody that can program. Unless people think it's the new trend or fad to misspell things. Bowman vs. Zombies still looks like a very simplistic asset flip of a game. Early access $2.99.
So many bloody decisions.
We have a new Vicky Spotter game, Vicky Spotter Professions, so jobs. Vicky Spotter is a kids friendly game, or allegedly kids friendly game where you spot the differences and they make a new one about every month. It's 33% off for 66 cents. At the very least, I would say that the games seem to be priced right and not too bad on a parent's pocketbook.
You are not welcome here. Again! No problem.
And in return, next we have a game on Steam called Stalingrad Abatis, A-B-A-T-I-S. And it seems like it's showing real-world pictures. This might be a troll game. No, you know what it looks like is it looks like it's a spooky house asset flip horror game again. Let's see, it's an English, German, and Russian game, rated M, 10% off for $1.79. Yeah, seems like it's a low effort horror game. Moving on. Let's see, what am I trying to do?
Before me.
Let's see, we have a game on Steam called The Amazonian Dead. Let's see. This looks like it's a top-down run for your life simulator. It really does look like it's just a infinite running for your life game where you're weaving back and forth. Alright, now the trailer's showing me some slight stealth mechanics. The camera angle is horrible. And this looks like it's probably just an asset flip game. Even though it might have a little bit more polish on it. It's 10% off for $10.79.
What now?
I'm trying really hard to find anything that would justify. Let's see. Should have played that first.
Pirate's code.
Hostile detected.
Yeah, I cannot find anything that justifies even wishlisting the Amazonian Dread. They just sold itself very badly. Gematsu has an article. Ubisoft announced a sports party for the Switch, a party game collection of 6 outdoor sports. Let's see if we can get a list of them. Frisbee, jet ski, basketball, golf, skateboarding, and beach tennis. But no volleyball. Interesting. Or basketball. Interesting. Like all the non-popular sports to make into video games.
Scurvy dog.
Let's see. Gematsu has an article. Troy Baker was not contracted to reprise his role in Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. The actor was quote-unquote gutted, he said on Twitter. He played the character Yuri, Y-U-R-I, Lowell, L-O-W-L, in the original release of Tales of Vesperia. What does that really mean? It may not really mean much of anything, because they may just be using his old voice acting, or it could mean they didn't like his voice acting, or they thought somebody else could do it better. Like there definitely is a lot of things that could mean. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition is out for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on January 11th, 2019. So we'll get more details there. TechRaptor has a review of The Gardens Between. which is a time manipulating puzzle game that looks pretty interesting. Let's see what they have to say about it. Scrolling down, they give it a 9.0 amazing. While it may seem like nothing more than a Braid clone, Gardens Between is anything but creative and evocative other than the length, there's little to dislike here. And frankly, if you're making a Braid clone at this point, that's not enough of an issue because Braid has been out for a long time.
Answer for your crimes.
Let's see. Pros are gorgeous art, touching story, consistently unique puzzles. Cons are the short length. So I was pretty positive on the Gardens Between anyways. Good to get some confirmation from my bias there, or my presumption. I don't know if it's a bias or just a presumption because I haven't played the game. We have a game on Steam called Quixel Rush Halloween Party. That's Quixzel Rush. I have no idea what this seems to be. Just a very simplistic game where a bar of things comes scrolling down and you have to click on the positive things and not click on the positive things. Some kind of number mathematic game. It seems like a one-screen Unity style game. It's too simplistic.
Put this apple on your head.
Let's see. There we go. In turn. Quixel Rush Halloween Party is 40% off for 59 cents. It's part of a bundle of 41 other games for $8.81, so that tells me it's probably not a good quality game. Let's close that.
Your moonlit shadows rise to meet you.
It's playtime.
GameIndustry.biz had this interesting story. The Envision esports staff will be paid their outstanding salaries if .esports pulls 2 articles, says former CEO. And then update, Arthur Minikov says invoices have been sent to pay players allegedly owed thousands of dollars. So apparently the former studio of a now defunct 2 Overwatch team continues to hold out payments owed to the ex-staff, saying they will only pay the outstanding salaries if .esports removes 2 published articles from its site. Yeah, so some nastiness there that probably didn't go his way. So he said, yeah, we better just pay these people before they have a lawsuit on their hands. Because that's probably where that was all going to boil down to. Let's see. So kill 2. Like I don't have enough mana to play all of these, so let's just do this.
Answer for your crime.
That, and then that, and that. That. And play that.
I must choose.
I'm just gonna burn a ridiculous amount of cards.
Ready or not, here I come.
Let's see, we have a game on Steam called Jet Island, which seems to be like a VR game where you're racing on a hoverboard on kind of an asset flipped asteroid planet in space. looks very rough. Requires VR, it's $19.99. It's probably extremely slow. Seems like the idea of mixing a hoverboard together with a VR is just asking for trouble. Like really just asking for trouble. Causing motion sickness. So yeah, $20. Close that tab. We have a game called Stones of Yalmarith. That's Y-A-L-M-R-I-T-H. It seems kind of fancy, like a puzzle platformer. I'm not sure how much of this is I would call an asset flip and how much of this I'd call like an actual polished effort. Like, I'd say this is too much effort to just call it an asset flip. You have to get into the flip part of that and ask yourself, would somebody just looking for money bother to do this much effort? And if the answer is no, you can't call it a flip. For the most part, this seems like it is a platforming game with small amounts of puzzles, but enough to be interesting. This game is also in Arabic, and it looks like an Arabic game. It's $11.99, so that makes it slightly more interesting to me. It's the first game from this developer. It's kind of expensive, but I'll put it on the wish list and see if some reviews come out. Let's see, destroy all other minions with 2 attack or less. Right. Let's see. I literally can't play anything.
I'm not welcome here before me.
In turn. We have a game on Steam called Pushing Through. It's a horribly MS Paint looking block pusher. Haven't seen a lot of MS Paint looking games, so I'm glad this is the first one, and we've been through so many. It's free to play, but it looks like garbage. How are we doing as far as progress? We're still trying to play odd cost cards, and we are still trying to get one more Tavern Brawl with somebody. Actually, I need 2 more Tavern Brawls. Yeah, I can see myself going into a post-game show and just really just struggling to get the absolutely necessary Tavern Brawls that need to happen before midnight tonight. Yeah, we don't need to talk about Nutaku's new games. Let's. There's one called Panties of Rage, Nutaku being a sex game only storefront. Their games aren't really worth talking about, frankly. And frankly, with Steam's new uncensored policy, if it all goes well, Nutaku is really not going to have a reason to exist anymore. They'll start just publishing all the games they develop directly on Steam. We have a game called Wizard's Tourney, which looks like it's a top-down local multiplayer fighting game where you play as wizards. It's 100% positive with 10 user reviews, which is probably not enough user reviews. It looks alright, but not amazingly good either. The thing about just top-down fighting of 4 players on different platforms is that's never going to be impressive enough to me to make me want to play a game, and that's all it really has. Controllers needed for multiplayer. 2 players can use the same controller by activating the shared controller mode. Wizard's Tourney is $9.99 with no discount. And I bet this is the first game from this developer, so yeah. Close that tab. Of course, also there's a point that I just would not ever have 3 other people playing with me, so no doubt I'm not interested in those type of games. Next game we have on Steam is called Waifu Bay Resort. I would say using the phrase waifu too potentially immediately pushes me on my guard and says, okay, this is going to be a low effort game because they didn't even bother to think of a good name for their game. Let's see. It's tagged as sexual content, indie, strategy, relaxing. It doesn't look like it's really even a dating or visual novel game. It looks more along the lines of some kind of resource management game. I don't know how you play this. The animation style looks like a Western animator trying to do anime, or just bad anime. I think inherently I'm just gonna have to start calling it bad anime style, and it's too long of a phrase. Seems like there's 3 characters, 3 different hair colors, and their bust size may slightly vary, but I'd say only by potentially 1 cup at most. So not a lot of variety in the characters, which is often a problem with a lot of these games. They are just not, they're not hitting the full gambit of people who might be interested in it because they're not doing the different character styles. Yeah, it seems like this is just a management game where you build up the resort. A low effort game, hidden, and trying to be sold on sex when I don't think there really is. There's a picture low on that shows 8 characters, I believe, 7 characters, but I only saw 3. And looking at these 7 characters, they're still, for the most part, the exact same body type. It's 30% off for $5.59. Let's see if this developer's developed anything else that anybody would be interested in. They have made other things, and I inherently wouldn't call them a troll developer. I'd just call them a bad developer. Like, nothing's been reviewed well. There we go. So that's one of the Tavern Brawls done. We need just one more to go, and then I get the odd cost card some other way. Gematsu has an article, Varnier of the Dragon Star. Has some gameplay from the Tokyo Game Show. Let's see, it is due out for the PS4 on October 11th in Japan. So, looking at the release dates for the games that were announced at the Tokyo Game Show, I'm running into the belief, at least, that around October is the big time when people buy games in Japan. Instead of waiting till Black Friday, November 25th, or Christmas. They seem to be a little bit earlier, which, okay, that's good to learn. It also implies that video game buyers in Japan are way more susceptible to hype and will buy it on day one a lot more than, say, people in the United States or the rest of the world. We've got a game on Steam called Parkour Polygon. Looks like it's a Super Meat Boy clone with just simplistic polygons. $2.99. I see nothing there that interests me, so I'm gonna ignore that and close the tab. I should have probably attacked this guy. Next we have a game called Turn the Bridge, which is like a mobile game, I'm pretty sure, clone where you just are tapping one button to toggle bridges that a character that I assume is always moving forward. It's the line dancer style of game.
What now?
Let's, I guess, play that. And in the turn, I guess I should have probably played a coin and played that. Yeah, Turn the Bridge doesn't interest me. It looks just like it's a mobile phone port to PC, 25% off for 74 cents. I guess it's a good thing we don't see a ridiculous amount of other cell phone port type games coming to PC. We see a lot of them, but it's not as many as I assume are getting dumped on the iOS and Apple Store, or anywhere close. Like this next game we have on Steam is called Energy Nodes. It's definitely another cell phone port game. It looks horrible, really bad. It doesn't even look like they adjusted the textures correctly. It's 25% off for 74 cents and it's blurry. The first time I've ever seen a game and looked at the screenshot and thought, well, boy, is that really blurry. I shouldn't have attacked with that. Next we have a game called Rise Up, which is a jumping game, just platforming up and down style game. Cell phone port, basically 25% off for 74 cents. Let's see. And let's keep on attacking. We have a game on Steam called Liberty Prime, which is tagged as an action-adventure RPG game. I'd say it's a top-down hack-and-slash style game. It looks pretty fast-paced and actually kind of interesting to play. It has bits of a Dark Souls roll and dash feel to it, and a Diablo 2 roll and feel to it, to the point where I kind of suspect that maybe it stole art assets from Diablo 2, because I'm seeing a health and mana orb, which I don't know if you can just draw that pretty easily. Probably could.
Immortality.
You're fighting dragons and serpents and all kinds of big monsters. Let's see, it's English only, early access, $14.99. I think this game needs to be on my wish list because I need to see what people think about it. It looks really good in the trailer. Let's see. Discard all weapons.
For the master.
Next we have a game on Steam called Cat Finder. Everyone likes mummies, cats, and beautiful concubines of the pharaoh, at least some of these three. And the thumbnail for this is a mummy girl in scantily clad clothing with blue skin. But I have no idea what this game really is. Seems like it might be a match 3 game, but not really. It seems like I really don't know what this is. Is it some kind of wave-based tower defense style game? Like a linear wave-based tower defense? type game is what I'm guessing. And again, the animation is kind of blurry, so I'm having a hard time to justify playing this crazy looking game, even though I kind of want to. Let's see. If we do this, and play that, and do that. I played out of order, but
For the master.
that's not too bad. Let's see, what else has this developer made? Nothing. And this game is tagged with sexual content, casual, violent, and nudity. So, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna put it on the wish list, but I think this was probably a low effort game. Cat Fender. Next game we have on Steam is called Final Theory. It's an indie strategy turn-based space game. Looks very good looking. That is a high requirement for any of these space games, 4X games. Unfortunately, they never seem to be able to catch my attention. Like, I don't know how I could ever get into one of these games.
For the master. Wicked. Strike.
Just keep on attacking. Like, Final Theory could be the best game ever. It's 10% off for $13.49. And I still won't play it just because it's a space game. It's also the first game from this developer, so it probably isn't the best game ever. But whatever. Moving on, we have a game called Orion Sandbox Enhanced, which looks like a Terraria clone. It's $1.99. Whatever it really is, I don't care. It looks like a Terraria clone. And yeah, the only other game this developer made was mixed reviews. So, there's a GameIndustry.biz article here that I wanted to talk about why I'm not going to talk about it. There you go, I just ruined him ever summoning that character.
Strike.
Need to kill this character though, pretty quickly. GameIndustry.biz has an article, Overwatch League gets its first female coach. Which is definitely a good thing, but isn't newsworthy. Like, would I ever personally, report on any of the other Overwatch Leagues getting coaches? Because the Overwatch League is pretty new. They've all gotten new coaches, probably relatively quickly. Since I really wouldn't, in all honesty, report this if it was a male coach, why would I give special treatment to a female coach? Like, I shouldn't. I wouldn't. And I'm not going to. So, in reporting that, I'm also reporting on this article, but I'm not going to give any details. Like, it's not something that I care about. Oh, speaking of things I don't care about, there was a creator on the rise on the YouTube gaming trending tab, and it was this woman named Erin Plays, E-R-I-N, I watched a couple of her videos. I found them short and boring. I found that she wasn't saying anything interesting and would often get off topic and rant, and that's something I guess I kind of pride myself to not get too off topic and not rant too much about. And I gave her a decent effort, but in the end I had to say no, that she was not entertaining enough or informative enough to add to my wish list. Why she's on the rise, I have no idea. If that's really the kind of criticism of video game coverage. She was also playing NES games, but she was barely spending 10 minutes playing each game. It's certainly not the kind of content that I would or could create. So different strokes for different folks. If a lot of people do like Aaron plays, I guess that's fine. It just tells me that the kind of content I make and my kind of fans are probably not the kind of the main kind of fans that exist on YouTube. Here, do I need to do anything right now? No. We have a free-to-play MOBA game on Steam called Heavy Metal Machines. It looks like it's a racing around in cars and shooting each other style game. It's free to play, but also it doesn't look amazingly interesting. It's rated pretty positively, to be fair. Mostly positive, 72% of 2,094 reviews. I don't know if a MOBA racing car game works as a concept. Play this.
Move quickly.
Tech Raptor has an article. Home Sweet Home will haunt your consoles on October 9th. So the Xbox One, Xbox One X, PSVR, and PlayStation 4 will each get their own versions of this horror game, Home Sweet Home, which looks like it's animated better than most of the low effort horror games that are out there.
Access denied.
I fight.
Although, to be fair, Home Sweet Home is only slightly better looking than a lot of these low effort horror games. In fact, I may very well have looked at Home Sweet Home and rejected it. A lot of these games really just boil down to a bunch of jump scares, and if you're not gonna fall for the jump scares, as I probably won't, then you've really got no kind of experience that you're gonna have with them.
Deploying countermeasures.
We have a game called Jump Stream, a competitive platform built in real time by an audience, which that's never going to work because it requires too many people to play it. It's an interesting concept. You can see that people are playing and then other people are clicking on squares on a grid to make platforms appear or disappear. Requires you to use a mixer. Free to play. Interesting concept, but you need some kind of AI bot that would make the platforms at random instead of just the audience doing it. You need to, at the very least, have a small group of friends be able to play the game if no other person on the planet is playing. And there probably would be a relative split between the number of people that want to play the audience part of the game and want to play the actual game. Gematsu has an article, Momodora series spiritual successor sequel, Minoria, Minoria, announced for the Switch and PC. Momodora is a Niche, pretty good, what would you call it, a platformer, RPG game? 2D, side-scrolling, I'd say platformer. Would probably be the best hack and slash. The thing about it is it's been Momodoro's speedrun, and it's a pretty good game, and it's pretty popular. So when Minoria comes out in 2019, that will be another thing that goes on my wish list. Actually, I don't think I own Momodora. So that might be a good excuse for me to catch up. Oh, I played that out of order.
Let's move quickly. For justice.
We have a game on Steam called Maximum Action, a brutal and satisfying physics-based first-person shooter influenced by Hong Kong action and other old-school titles, is what it says. To me, it looks like it's probably just a slightly polished asset flip type game. You can kick people, you can get some bullet time, you can go into slow motion, you got a collection of guns, none of which are textured amazingly good. The textures in the world and the wall and the people all looks pretty bad. Early access for $14.99, and I don't think you just sell a game with Maximum Action as the name. I think you have to have a story behind that.
Reporting for duty.
I don't need any of you.
For justice.
Let's see. Next, we have a game on Steam called Heroin Anthem 0, Episode 1. They say it's an epic fantasy 2D side-scrolling ARPG with Japanese voiceovers and support for 7 languages. It is mixed reviews right now, 58% of 378 user reviews, which is interesting. It apparently came out December 23rd, 2016, so I don't know how I ended up with this on Steam again, or how I ended up looking at this game. It's interesting.
Let me think.
Sure. But why would I be looking at it now, and why is it relevant now? Picture shows a anime angel girl of sorts. Let's see, Swati attack all other minions. Okay.
Reality breaks.
Reporting for duty.
That.
For me!
Move quickly.
Let's see what the reviews are. Like, this was something from 2016, not recommended. This was from 2016, not recommended. This is 2017, is recommended. You know what, I can filter this. Date range. Let's see how to show graph. Draw a box. Okay. July 7th. This game is interesting but ends abruptly and is way too short. It relies heavily on girls in skimpy clothes, which just feels cheap.
Let me think.
Which, okay. Yeah, this feels like it's an abandoned game, so I don't know how this ended up on my list. How did it trick what's on Steam into thinking that it was
Access denied.
a new game? The other part about this would be to say that episode 1 just kind of ends and there is no episode 2. Well, okay, that's enough information for me to ignore it then. If it's been 2 years, you haven't gotten episode 2 out, that's more than enough to say this is an abandoned project. Right.
Converting stored energy.
Reporting for duty.
We have a game on Steam called Super Pilot. It looks like it's an F-Zero clone. 100% positive of 11 user reviews. Looks like it has a track builder. It's not the most visually polished game. It's going for more of a smooth CG look, which actually I think I appreciate because too many F-Zero clones do go for the sharp neon look. So I'm going to wishlist this game. It's early access, 10% for $11.69. I'm going to keep an eye on it to see if a community grows around it and people make races. And it really is something that might be worth having. Let's see. How are they constantly killing my one thing? I guess he's just using his fire blast to do it. Next we have a game called The Rains Down Players, a creativity-driven RPG about the rundown theater and pleasing the unruly clientele. Help the Rains Down Players become a premier and only theater troupe in town. It says it's an action. No, it says it's an adventure RPG indie game. I would say the graphics look very, very bad. MS Paint style. And this feels like you're playing a game made by some theater kids and lacking in programming or gameplay design or mostly just lacking in animation ability. Rains on Players is $3.99, too expensive by far for what it is. Let's see. This. And this is the best I'm gonna get, so this. PC Gamer, this is an old article that I've been trying to get to for a while. New Gundam Breakers comes to Steam next week. That was 4 days ago. The new Gundam game on PC was originally slated for release in June.
Someday I'll be just like you.
So, yeah. I still don't think it's out yet, though. We have a game called Scarlet Smiling Skull, which is some kind of visual novel, or at least it claims to be. It looks like it's mostly line art, black and white line art. Very ugly looking. 10% off for $1.79, and so visually bad that I'm not interested. I'm not sure if I've talked about this, but I'll just say it again. TechRaptor has an article. Pinball FX3 remastering Williams Table alongside the classic incarnations, which is to say that they're not just taking the Williams tables and putting them in their game, they are adding the 3D model characters that dance around on top of the pinball tables, like several of their made-up things that are almost 100% distractions and don't add anything to the gameplay. Meanwhile, there's still complaints. I think I am also one of the people who complain about how Pinball FX3 handles the ball physics. So they just don't play well. I guess I don't particularly have to worry about that since I bought the Pinball Arcade versions ahead of time. I seriously doubt I would be convinced to buy these tables a second time on Pinball FX3. If somebody wanted to donate them to me, that would be fine, but and I'd give them a quick look, sure, but I don't think I would go any further than that. Let's see, we are in a weird position now, aren't we? Let's do one more game, because I only have a few more things to talk about. The game industry, Gamasutra has an obituary. Game industry veteran Gene Mauro, M-A-U-R-O. He was a digital media executive. He passed away September 15th at 49. He was best known for founding indie production company Capital Entertainment Group, CEG, and an obituary published earlier in the week includes more details about his career.
I will fight with honor.
He also co-founded Myelin Media, M-Y-E-L-I-N, a video game publishing company that would go on to release titles on PC and console over 50 countries, including Immortal Cities, Children of the Nile, and then a game I've never heard of. Okay, but alright, he passed away. We could cover that story and move on. 49 is pretty young. Gamasutra has a listing. Get a job. Obsidian Entertainment is hiring an engine programmer in Irvine, California. I'm sure all the Telltale employees who just got laid off might be looking for jobs now, although I doubt many of them are, or any of them are listening to me.
Reporting for duty. Job's done.
It's gonna be weird because The Walking Dead Season 3 is gonna come out on my channel, and I'm not gonna mention that Telltale is going out of business at all. But it may very well help me to. I'm on the Humble Bundle. There's a few more tabs past that, though. There's Humble Bundle game programming books you could get, but I'm not sure how well any of those books are. Honestly, the truth is, trying to learn programming yourself outside of a well accredited and they know what they're teaching and how to teach environment is not going to be great. Like you probably should go to school to learn programming first and then grow from a basis at that point. We have a game called Majula Frontier, M-A-J-U-L-A Frontier. Says it's a indie strategy RPG turn-based combat according to the tags. It looks like it's
Let me think.
some kind of turn-based RPG. I don't even know if there's much of a story or anything, or if it's just a boss rush. It has an interesting animation style. It's cartoony, almost like a South Park-esque look. Apparently it has something to do with some books. So it's like based on a book series.
I must move quickly.
It's more of a Cyanide and Happiness animation style, not a South Park animation style.
Battle. Photonic Lux.
I fight.
Let's see, 10% off for $17.99, and it seems like there's DLC for a soundtrack and an ebook too. It's really expensive. It does not look good enough to be a $17 price. Let's see.
Reporting for duty. Battle. The battle.
I fight.
You cannot run.
Next game we have is called God Awe-Full Clicker. And so, I mean, if that's what you're gonna name your game, you've probably already gone in the wrong direction. Honestly, this looks like a clicker game that might actually have been slightly interesting. It's got a whole bunch of different Roman and Greek gods that I think you're upgrading and getting items and all kinds of things to modify your clicking. actions, and in the middle, two characters are always fighting. And apparently there's also some match 3 puzzle element to this. But then you name your game God Awful Clicker. It's free to play, but why do you do that? Why would you do that to yourself?
Reporting for duty. The battle! The battle!
Just bad advertising.
I fight.
Bad advertising. Only got a couple more. Gardens Between we already talked about. That'll definitely go on my wish list. We have a game called Outback Survival, which is clearly just an asset flip third person game. Let's see how much it is. Early access $12.99. And the pictures don't even want to load. But I'll just go ahead and jump to the assumption that I know that this is an asset flip game because it has like horrible mix of random things. Next game we have is Forest Survival, which also is just a asset flip, very low effort game. We can just skip to that, $13.99. I kind of feel like those two games may have been released by the same developer.
Mushroom power! The battle! You have better.
We have a game called The Young Mathematician, Easy Difficulty. It looks like it's probably a cell phone game for learning math. Inherently, a math cell phone game makes a lot of sense, but bringing it to PC doesn't really. This game can have minimum numbers between -100 and maximum numbers of +100, so that is pretty early mathematics there. But there are 40 achievements, and it seems like each achievement is a number. So this probably is more of an achievement game than a real game. It's 35% off for 64 cents, and it's part of a mega bundle. And yeah, this is an achievement game, a low effort game, not a real game. Let's see. And we have a game called Color Cannons Plus, which seems like it's a Warlords style clone. Warlords being an old arcade game. 4 characters on a flat plane shooting colorful cannon shot at each other. It's multiplayer only, so I'm not going to play it anyways, but I don't think it's that interesting looking. 30% off for $3.49. Let's see. I already talked about that. Gamma Sutra had an article, Blizzard cracks down on third-party data tracking apps in Overwatch. So yeah, don't use a third-party data tracking app in Overwatch. We have a game called Implan that describes itself as an exploration but not amazing game. Why would I want to play your game if you don't even think it's amazing? Looks like it's a low effort asset flip for $5.99. And I have nothing else to talk about. Good. Alright, well that wraps it all up relatively nicely. We've gotten everything done we needed to get done on Steam. Well, on Steam listings of new games and on Hearthstone. All the daily quests have been done. I am fairly certain we are on the Asian account, right? Let's just look down here and make sure we've got some Asian names on people who have friended me. Yeah. That would be really bad if it turned out we were still on the European account and we just hadn't gotten it all done. We went a little long still. At a certain point I'm going to have to start breaking Hearthstone episodes into like hour-and-a-half long episodes. I would say this was a really good Friday stream. A lot of people came on the chat and talked. A lot of people I am assuming were watching today, which is interesting because usually Friday's the worst day of the week. And yeah, we were able to catch up and get everything done. And I'm still not regretting my decision not to look at PC Gamer, Eurogamer, so I can pretty much stop talking about them and just move on with my life. That's it for this stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites like Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. Also, down below is information on how to friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist, or gift me a gift card if you want to support me that way, or you can just support me through Patreon. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.